Welcome back to another episode of Opera with a Side of Fries. I am one of your hosts, Oren Gratis. I'm here joined by
Carl Tanner
and Frank Basile.
Today, I am so excited. We have a guest that I have wanted from the very beginning when we started this. This was the one guest that I said we have got to have on as soon as possible.
Yeah, baby.
And we have finally gotten her. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the gorgeous, effervescent, I'm running out of adjectives, but the brilliant Latonia Moore.
Yeah.
Who is
welcome, Latonia.
Who is all of you know is one of the world's greatest voices, but also one of the best people. So she's here with us. I'm so excited.
Me too, man. I mean, this is a long time coming, right? I mean, y'all don't understand. We've been trying to do this for
Since
months.
Yes.
Months. You have no idea.
If you weren't so busy, I mean, it's maybe this is the one advantage of the pandemic is that we finally get to have you. And
hey, look, truth be told, if I'm going to be on with y'all, I need a beverage. And I was doing too much singing to have those chords dry like that. Yeah. Okay, so now we're in quarantine. I can have my happy hour beverage. I loved it. Carl was like, look, you name the time. I was like, 5 o'clock, the drinking hour. So I'm going to keep it real. It is 5 o'clock on a Friday.
And
Most people are trying to stay in like I am.
But you also got the family out of the house, right? So you're really enjoying yourself.
Yeah, it's not far out the house. Basically on a very long drive. Not the Jersey kind.
On a short pier.
But from what I understand, you're getting to that point.
Oh my God. Totally. They're driving me crazy, but hey, you learn, you grow, when you get to be stuck with your family. It's the best thing that could ever happen to you. Seriously. You learn from them, you get to know them. They give me advice, mostly unsolicited, but it's great. And they're toddlers, by the way. They're ages 3 and 5, just so we know.
God bless you.
That's young people. Okay, Frank, just so you know, I have these little children, and I always, probably stupidly ask them for advice. Okay, so I'm like, what should I wear? What should mama wear? And I was trying to figure out something I should wear, for recording. They were like, I said, I want to look nice, but I want to look, like the sacred music nice. I want to look like it's churchy. Okay, so they're looking at it, and Naomi's like, oh yeah, mama, oh, it's beautiful. Nico, my husband, he's like, yeah, it looks beautiful. Oh my God, amazing. And Julian, 3-year-old son, he's like,
gives you the thumbs down.
Yeah. I don't like it. I was like, what? Nico's like, babe, don't listen to that. That's bullshit. Don't listen. I don't like it. I don't like the shirt. I was like, it's not a shirt, it's a gown. So you don't like the top of it? And he's like, why are you talking to him? Why are you worried about these 3? I was so concerned.
Because you play to your audience, right?
Now. I mean, well, no, it's not just that. I grew him, okay? So somehow he's a part of me. And their opinion matters to an abnormal degree.
I know.
Yeah.
We all, I have an 11-year-old.
At 3 years old, I had no fashion style at all. So this kid must be a genius, quite frankly.
Wait, that's assuming you have fashion style now, Frank.
Yeah, but I didn't even know what the word fashion meant at 3 years old.
And you still haven't learned.
That's a nice shirt. Are you kidding me? You look nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this is a fashionable shirt. But your kid must be a genius.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. People call him a genius.
Yeah, probably is.
Giant head.
He's going to be
7th percentile circumference head.
He'll be a space.
And you gave birth naturally with him?
Do you have pictures of them?
My doctor said, you need to be thanking your lucky stars you didn't give birth naturally because his head is,
huge,
unprecedented.
Well, I want to say, Latonia,
you birth to the first one naturally. Just curious, Latonia, did you the first one?
Neither of them. You know what? I wanted to do my daughter natural, but there was an emergency, and what happened is my water broke, and you know what happened to this girl? She climbed all the way up in my body as far as she could go, and her umbilical cord dropped. So when that happens, you cannot give natural birth. It's impossible because of the possible cut of the air supply.
Well, my late wife told me she had the first one natural because she really wanted to experience everything. But then when she had the second one, she said, "To hell with that! Give me all the drugs you got."
Yeah, I mean, I get it with wanting to experience it though, because I'll tell you this: with my daughter, I basically, since they had to do an emergency C-section, I woke up and they just put her in my arms. I was like, what is this? This is not my baby. What is this
So
thing?
did you have two
You know?
C-sections?
I did. The second
wow.
one was planned.
Wow.
Okay. And I said, no, I want to be awake and I want to see the birth. And you know what, y'all looking, I hate this. Okay. I was like, I want to see the birth. It was the biggest mistake. I know you're not supposed to say this, God. I never will regret any children, but you know
Nightmares
what I
now for the.
Oh my God, it was disgusting.
Well,
Now, for all of those who have found the miracle of birth a beautiful thing, I applaud you. You are way more mature than I am. Because when I saw that baby, I saw my little baby come out like that, and they held him up, and he was blue and dripping.
oh,
Hell
can I say something
no!
about
If I could have hurled, I would have. But you're required to not eat a certain amount of time, so there was nothing to vomit up. But if there was, it would have been out.
I was going to say about unplanned. You talk about unplanned C-section. Well, that I know that you are unable. You were scheduled to perform Aida at the Met, and your pregnancy was quote unquote unplanned, and those changes.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, when you're about to star in
That pregnancy was unplanned. It most certainly was.
Latanya's waiting for her big, huge break, and then she gets it. She gets to be the star.
It was really hard because I called Jonathan and I was like, listen, Jonathan, friend, who don't know who I mean. I called him and I was like, I'm kind of pregnant and I don't think I'm going to be able to do the show. And he was basically wondering how pregnant. Oh, maybe we can still work it out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm due during the run.
But then you were pregnant the second time when you did it the last time you were.
I did it super pregnant. Let me tell you something. Yeah. I did it super pregnant, and I regret it because, look, let me tell you from an audience perspective. If I was in the audience and I saw what I saw my opening night when I was almost 8 months pregnant, y'all doing Aida. Pregnant. I'll explain why later.
So you did do it, right? You did it, right?
Listen, I get on the stage. I'm doing it. I do Act 1 and Act 2, and it was actually pretty rocking. It was going all right.
Extra support.
I get to the dreaded Nile scene. Now, y'all know, especially Oren and Carl know, Frank, because they've done Aida with me, that the Nile scene is the dreaded, and no matter what condition I'm in, it's dreaded. The dreaded Nile scene.
The UA and the tenor.
Okay, so.
Yeah, the bass is in the dressing room.
I go up and my baby's rolling around, and I'm nervous, and my baby's rolling around, and I'm nervous and rolling. Okay, I get up and I go up to the high C. I know my pure.
Oh.
It was like a short circuit, like somebody had cut the wires and they had slowly separated, and you could hear the static that was in the middle, like that might have survived.
Yes.
One of my friends described it as mice in a wall.
Oh, that's I was there. It was not.
It was
great.
It was so terrible. And after that,
was it so bad? Carl's water.
The rest of it, but it was. Let me tell you, I got through the rest of it, but it was so. Listen, y'all, this is really terrible because there are some people that definitely know this story. Anyway, I got through the rest of the opera, but I was shaking. I went out for my bow and people were standing up, and I knew it was a pity ovation.
No, it was not.
Oh, get out of here.
I bet it was
great. All the opera queens talked about how great it was.
I'm sure it was great.
You know what,
I hear pregnancy helps to support and all the singing.
Not me. Not with that baby rolling around with that giant 97 percentile head. It wasn't. Okay, it's not his fault at all. It's not even my fault. It's my genes.
But wait, but the first time,
but you did.
but you did have to cancel that.
But then again, I love him for it because he's got the genius head.
Absolutely. But you did have to cancel that with the first pregnancy. You did have to cancel.
Yes, I had to because I was due. Because look, with Julian, I wasn't due until the middle of January. So I was like, okay, the last show of this one is like December, so maybe I can pull it off.
Are you more fertile when you know you're going to sing Aida? Is that what it is?
I think, you want me to be specific?
When you have a job.
Listen, it is totally, I know like this is totally like cheesy and cliche as fuck, but it's totally very like Mimi like when she's like, the first, first kiss of springtime is mine. As soon as I see that little glimmer, it's mine. I am fertile in April.
In
Good
April,
to know.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody needs to know that. Maybe my husband will kill me, but he knows it's true.
Believe me, we're saying a bunch of stuff on here. We're all going to be in trouble.
Hey, do you mind me asking, where do you live?
Miami,
You
Coral
live in
Gables.
Miami, so the weather
I
down
do.
there is.
We
Oh.
moved here actually a couple of years ago, and then I was just like, come on, let's move, let's like leave. And my husband's like, the weather. I'm like, yeah, but the hurricanes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like there's something everywhere, right?
But it
If he
hasn't
wants
hurt
to
your
stay here-
career at all. Thank God.
Look, you know what I mean? But I had to think about it, and I have to say, aside from a lot of people in this state being extremely boneheaded right now,
Mm-hmm.
this is a wonderful place to have to quarantine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's nice and clean, and we keep to ourselves as a family. We keep to ourselves. I sunbathe on the balcony. Can you see even a little bit of a tan line?
Oh yeah, I see the
Can you
tan.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
have a
see
pool?
the
You have a
I
pool?
see the bikini strap lines.
Well, we have a pool down there. It just opened recently, but we do most of our tanning on the just on this little balcony here. I mean, who
Oh,
cares? The sun is the sun.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. How many operas did you? I mean, you probably, like all of us, lost a lot of great jobs, and
What have you lost?
what have you lost? Now to get to the sad part of the broadcast.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was going to do the AVA Gala, which was at the Old Met in Philly. And I was so looking forward to that. Oh my God, you have no idea. And it was to honor my teacher, Bill Schumann. And I was so excited to sing. And it's just a nice venue. Canceled. After that, I was going to
I
do
called
a
Bill
master-
today and he hasn't called me back.
How's he doing, by the way? Seriously, I
All of
talked to
my
Bill.
life
He
and
had,
all of our lives.
Bill had,
Call
Bill got
everybody
corona.
back. You know we're in love with you. Call.
But you know,
But-
Bill got corona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
he fought it like a champ.
Good for him.
Yeah, he has. He's bounced back.
He bounced back then. He fought it, you know what I mean? And I mean,
And he
not
was in Florida,
everybody's so
by the way,
fortunate.
too.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Huh?
He was in Florida when he got it.
He still is. He's
Was
down there
he?
now. He's still down there now.
Yeah.
So go on. You were saying before you were rudely interrupted by Frank.
Oh,
Please.
It was me. It was
You
I
me.
can
wasn't trying to
interrupt.
interrupt anybody.
Frank, the only danger is I'll probably forget what I'm talking about.
Well, have a drink. Have another one. Well, but it's
I'm
wonderful.
still on this one. Don't rush me.
So
I
the
don't drink
AV
alcohol,
And it
so I just
matches your blouse. I mean, seriously,
is
that's perfect fashion.
iced coffee.
Her
Thank
cup is
you.
perfect color. The lipstick on the end of the straw.
You look gorgeous.
Yeah, just
Thank
gorgeous.
she looks
you.
gorgeous. You're making all
So-
of us look bad.
Now, yes. Okay, all right, Frank, enough. Let me continue with the devastation.
Hey,
Go
I've
for
been
it.
trying. I've been trying to do
talk
this for
about how
about.
devastated I am. Right, Oren, look at him. He knows
Yeah.
what's up.
So AVA, Bill Schumann, he can't.
We lost the AVA Gala at the old Metropolitan Opera in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's gone. After that, I was going to do a master class at MSN, which I was thrilled about because this is the truth. I can't really teach anybody technique, you know, not reliably because I wasn't trained to teach somebody that, but I can coach you through things to do, like, you know, like how you need to interpret something.
Sure.
You know, so I was thrilled to get to do it at such a major place where I know we're dealing with, like, you know, really great singers. You know, I mean, God, it's such a disappointment. So that was canceled. After that, we were doing Porgy and Bess, the Francesca Zambello production, which I'd never done. And let me tell you what's very interesting about it, because I decided I didn't want to do it twice before I accepted it. And that's the truth. Because I had been asked to do some things there before. I was asked before to do Forte and cover it. I'm not sure what happened with it.
Where was
They
this?
were like, yeah, we really
Yeah.
wanted to do it, but in the end, I ended up getting something else, and so I didn't end up covering it.
Where was that?
This was all Washington National Opera.
Washington.
They were doing
wonderful.
Forza. The next time, they were doing Don Carlo, in which they wanted me to do one performance and cover. And I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? I got to do the cover too, but at least I get to do a performance, all right? But then something else came up, and Aida, and I was like, you know what? Instead of having to make my debut in Washington as a cover, I would rather do this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in
Absolutely.
Dubai. Which, okay, I ended up doing Aida in Dubai. Let me tell you what, y'all. I don't know if y'all have been there, but that place is like, if I looked out on the skyline, it's like 2032. 2032.
Yeah, it's an
It's a
advanced
pretty
city.
amazing place.
Head.
They are
And
way
a
ahead.
very
So,
Wait, so
okay,
the Porgy and Bess,
Futurist.
because you just, for everybody in the audience who didn't get a chance to see it, Latonia was the star of Porgy and Bess at the Met. This
One of
past-
them.
one of the stars, my favorite star.
They're like a lot.
You know, I will tell you something that not a lot of people do. No, I was asked to do Porgy and Bess at the Met, and you know, I didn't know it would be fair to everybody to star there, so I graciously turned Sport and Life down.
Oh, is that what happened? Oh my God,
That's what-
Freddie. Please be a fly on the wall right now and hear Carl say something like that. Please be a fly on the wall. Freddie Valentine, please.
I'd like to hear you sing "Ain't Necessarily So," Carl.
I probably would like to hear
Yes.
it too.
Yeah,
You know,
go on.
I'm all about hearing it, but you know, a copyright is a copyright. The
That's
law
right.
is the law, correct?
You know, my first voice teacher was Todd Duncan. I love this show. Grew
My
up-
God,
Yeah.
I had a lesson with Todd Duncan,
You
and he
did.
told me if I was lucky, I'd have a career. One lesson.
You must be real lucky, like lucky as fuck, right?
I was 16, and he said, "Son,
Yeah, I was too.
I
There.
think you'll have a career, but you know, it's not just luck. It's a lot of hard work."
Yeah.
But it was, you know what? I was in love with just meeting him because he was the guy that did Porgy and Bess
That's right.
with Liam T. Price.
Yeah, that's right.
Seriously, that's why I'm just like, but
So I was, you know, the 6-degree separation. I was 1 degree away from Leontine, and I was the biggest Leontine fan when I was a kid.
Good for you.
I mean,
So
I believe it.
So I got to say, so the Carl and Latonia and I all had the wonderful chance to work together on Aida a number of years ago. That's actually where we all met.
How long
And I
ago
don't
was
know-
that?
I don't know how much we did-
Crystal,
How long
Betsy
ago was that?
Bishop.
Yeah, was that what was that in 2014? I think something like that. But the thing about it is I don't remember the opera so much as I just
Is it
remember
7
hanging out.
years ago?
Yeah, it was about 7 years. We just hanging out, you know, eating at 3:00 in the morning. What else did we do? I mean, it was-
Okay, let me just tell y'all something so funny. I just recently sent Crystal, our stage director,
Yeah.
remember? I sent her that parking lot video because the whole cast, we all went out to Dave and Buster's, Frank, and so
You have the
we
parking lot
went
video?
out and we was getting saucy.
Oh
we
my
was
God, I
acting
want that parking lot
crazy and being emotional and wild. And then we got out in the parking lot, and I was doing what I usually do. And
Just
you know, the
laughing?
hanging out with opera singers
Yeah, of
situation, and that's
Oh.
be as wild as possible just to feel comfortable, right?
Tanya, I think I met
So
you in a.
I decided
didn't
I was going to do like this whole like reenactment of what it would be like
well, you had
to shit out a whoopee cushion.
yeah, you had won
in
a whoopee
parking
cushion.
lot.
You won what you got all the tokens you got at Dave and Buster's. You got a whoopee cushion.
Yes,
I
you did.
did, and I
You
shut
did.
it out. And then on one part, I did it on the high note and on Pop Stream. It's just so shameful. I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
brilliant. It was
You know,
brilliant.
I didn't mean it.
And
but,
do you remember the other thing I remember about that
you can
production?
appreciate a good alcoholic night.
Do you remember in that production? And I don't know why, because you couldn't really see, you couldn't see it from the audience, but there was a baboon statue. Do you remember the baboon statue? What was so special
How
about
could I possibly forget?
it? Had the
if
large.
if my phone charges well enough, oh my God, y'all have, you know, my phone cover is the same as a huge opera fan, Ivy Lynn. Oh my God, I ran into her like in the audience in the Met, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And I saw her, and I recognized her. And when I saw we had the same phone, I was like, it seemed very single white female, but I loved it.
But that baboon had the largest.
Thank you. That was my point.
testicles or what?
No, it
Let
it
me
had
see
the
if I can locate
the largest
this.
phallus you've ever seen. And Latonia took the funniest pictures
Definitely
with that
from
baboon.
something like from an operatic, you know.
And I
setting.
just don't know why the designer would do that, because you couldn't see it from the audience. I didn't do it, but for all of us on stage, it was hysterical.
Is it
I
intimidating to you, Warren?
must find it.
It was massive.
I've got to find it. It was beautiful. It
And
was gold. It was. I don't know if y'all remember this song. I got the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. You probably don't know that song at all, but that's what
Love
I
it.
thought of this gold penis.
Oh,
I'm
It's
trying to
definitely
find it
fantastic.
myself. I'm looking on my
It
it
phone.
was. And
Now,
Latonia
see,
took the best
Latonia-
pictures of it.
When you're at home, you don't sing a lot of opera around the house. You sing what?
I do.
You do? You still sing an opera at home? When
I
something
do.
breaks out in song?
Do your kids tell you to shut up as well and stop because it's too loud? That's
Oh,
My
okay.
kids.
Let me tell you, you saw out at Erin Morley. She was trying to work on something. I think it was like Ariadne or something crazy. First of all, that's what was so funny. I'm just like, they're never gonna go for that, Erin. If you're gonna work on something while they're there, let it be clean, Mozart, simple. This is all they care about, kids. So I'll go, and it depends on what I'm singing, right? If I start wailing away on Verismo, they have no interest. Okay, they don't want to hear it. They don't want the screaming. It's too emotional and it's disturbing their play.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if I sing like, something from the Mozart Mass in C minor, Et incarnatus est, like light lyric coloratura kind of stuff, which I sing a lot at
Angelica,
home,
yeah.
they love it. They're just
Really?
like, no, man, it's so beautiful. If I sing Sonnambula, Lucia, and I usually sing those things to warm up before I get to the big stuff, but then they just hate the big
Yeah, my
stuff.
kids just tell me to shut up, and they just say, "Dad, be quiet." And I say to them, "How do you think things get paid for?" But they don't care.
But listen, it starts to get in my head just like the fashion thing. Remember when I told you at the beginning about Naomi and Julian? Julian said, "Oh, I don't like this dress because, thumbs down."
Yeah.
When they say this stuff and they react this way to the singing, I almost think, maybe I'm a light lyric coloratura, and I actually should be singing Sonnambula. But I don't have the technique.
Hey,
to be able
so
to
I want
pull
to go
it
back
off.
to
You
one
never
thing
know.
real
I
quick.
mean, it gets in your head. Look,
I want to ask you guys. I want to
ask.
ask Orrin and Latonia if you remember going to McDonald's at to 4 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you remember
I
that?
don't, but I wouldn't put it past
Yes,
me.
you do. Come on. Yes,
It
you
was
do.
after the casino and we were all hungry.
Oh, you don't
And
remember?
we sat
Okay.
in
I
line.
really don't.
Latanya, quote unquote, doesn't remember. Okay, guys.
You were in the back seat,
I don't. Let me switch cups.
and there was a guy in a tuxedo that was passed out in the lawn. Do you remember that? You guys remember that?
I don't. And do
And
you
he
have
was-
proof?
And you invited him to you invited him. You told me to give him a ride home. Give this guy a ride home. Do you remember that, Warren?
Well, I told you put him in
I
the trunk.
don't, but I'm so glad
Put 'em in
you
the trunk.
me.
Give him a ride home in the
Feed
trunk.
me.
Well, we pulled into McDonald's, and they were all inside working, and they wouldn't open the door for us. We sat at the drive-through, the where you speak into, and they wouldn't answer, but it was open. So we pulled around, and by the time we pulled around, there were like
Is
6.
this the same? And look, is this Dave
Pittsburgh.
and Buster's Day or a different day?
No, different
It was
day.
a different day.
Do you remember this too?
Yeah, I remember this.
And we were
Absolutely.
sitting
I'm
there.
telling you, they think I'm playing, but I have no recollection.
Oh my God, this was so great. We're sitting there, and they're looking at us through the window, and Orrin and I are sitting in the front, and you're in the back, and we were driving my Lexus, and you said, "Bang on those bitches' window." So I knocked on the
Oh
window.
my God, I did.
I knocked on the
man.
window, and one
Okay,
lady.
now I do remember this, but are you sure it was McDonald's?
It was McDonald's. And they
Carl
were
would know that.
the
Carl
only
would that
place
kind
open.
of information Carl knows.
I own stock. And they looked over at us and just went back to talking. So you were like,
They
that's
ignored
it.
it.
That's it. We're bang on those. So I banged on the window again. She comes over and goes, "What?" And I said, "That's how you greet a customer?" And she said, "What do you want to order?" And we ordered. And then the next thing
Our third dinner of the night.
And then the next thing you said to me is, "I don't know if I trust this place now. They know they're going to spit in our food."
That's right.
Hell yeah!
That's
But
right.
Let me tell you the truth. Look, I understand. Some people tell me when I react like that, when we're in line to get fast food or any kind of customer service, you have to watch how you are. They're going to spit on your food. You have to watch how you are and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go all the way back to high school in Houston, Texas. And my friend, which I shall not name, but I really hope is going to see this. Very popular at MacArthur High School. That's all I will say. And he worked at Taco Bell. Right across the street from the school. And he would get pissed off at one of the customers and open up that burrito and dig all the way in. The entire booger.
Taco
and
hell.
in there and roll it up. There's no way you're gonna know it because, as my best friend's sister said, okay, Jesus' sister, Jesus Garcia,
Oh yeah.
his sister Sonia, she's like, that's squirt gun food. She's right. They squirted right out of a gun, right out of a bag, and nice and juicy.
I have to see
and
people
boogers
make my
would
food. I have to
blend.
see them make my food. Sorry.
But you know what else I remember about another thing I remember is that we get back from rehearsal and Carl would be slow. Carl, first of all, owns more slow cookers because every time Carl goes to a job, he gets a new slow cooker. So how many do you have now, Carl? Honestly,
I have 14.
he has
Oh,
14
my
slow
Lord.
cookers. So Carl would be slow cooking
Oh,
something.
you have a sickness.
No.
Let me put-
It's because
let
I
me
go
put
to a
my
job.
Smarties back on.
If I work
Shipping
in
ahead.
the States, I drive everywhere because I don't like to fly unless I fly out of the United States. So if I work in the United States, I drive. And I think, okay, I'm going to take a slow cooker with me. Well, guess what? I forget. So when I get there, I go to Walmart and I buy a slow cooker, and then I said, well, I'm going to return it right before, And guess what?
A slow cooker for a short trip.
No. Wherever I work,
Yes, he does. He does.
and maybe 3 or 4 days, I'll buy a slow cooker and I'll return it 3 days later. Well, guess what? I never return them. I have 14 slow
14.
cookers.
But what I remember is we would come back and you would have something slow
Dangerously.
cooking, and it'd be ready at about 3:30 in the morning. And
Yeah.
about 3:30 in
stew.
the morning, the three of us would start eating, and you and Latonia would start watching Dr. Pimple Popper or something like that.
yeah.
And I would want to vomit because you guys know that I
love
cannot
the
eat and
ooze.
watch that show. And the two of you were just wolf down food and watching Dr. Pimple Popper. And
Listen, Frank. Let me tell you, baby. One of my favorite things about these guys, in particular, Oren, is that you can send them the nastiest stuff and know that their physical reaction will be so strong that you get a thrill.
Oh,
You
yeah,
don't
sure.
miss
No matter what.
Yeah.
You do not miss a birthday of sending me like a birthday cake, a picture of a birthday cake with like a piece of shit on it or something.
Or the
Do you remember-
latest
do you
thing,
remember-
But you thought was something so terrible, but was honestly just a tongue. It was
What?
only a tongue.
The vagina
last
cake with the
thing I
baby
sent you-
coming out. With the vagina
No.
cake. Remember the
I
baby
love
coming
that.
out of the vagina cake?
Oren, come on, all right. Who knows who's watching this? All I know is the last thing I sent you was a tongue. That's all that's relevant.
Okay.
Do you remember the video?
Anyway,
Giant
we got a
cyst?
kick out of
Do you remember the
completely
video?
sending this dude into a frenzy. Carl, you know.
I know. Hey, do you remember the video of you and I watching the giant cyst on that guy's back? And
Oh,
popping it?
my
It looked like
While
cottage cheese.
While
It's
eating.
making me thirsty. I'm actually going for water.
No, I
You
wanna
Making
go-
me thirsty.
I want to go get some cottage cheese.
Oh,
clearly
and the
most
two
of
of you
your
would be
fun
eating
is
and it.
off stage.
Oh my God.
I almost spit out my water.
I'm saying.
Ew, my
And
nose.
Oren just like, oh my God, oh my
No,
my
spit out
God.
water
Is that
for
your invitation to me?
real.
Oh, please, no, I'm gonna vomit. I'm really gonna vomit. I'm just gonna vomit.
That
Get
is
back, get away, get away.
Is
I
that a
can't turn it
YouTube
up.
video
Oren's
you
always
were
gonna
watching?
vomit.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
Oh my God.
Okay.
This guy has a cyst on his back the size of a football.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this woman, his sister, is somebody just sitting around the kitchen table, and she pops it,
Oh.
and nothing comes out. And then all of a
Oh.
sudden, she pushes it, and literally,
Look,
it opens up.
Stop.
And man, I'm not telling you, it never
oozes out
drank.
like volcanic
Oh.
water.
And the
Fills
two
up
of them
like
a-
can
fills
eat
up a
while
quart.
watching this.
And they're eating while watching,
a
Yeah.
quart of coagulated pus.
getting hungry.
Oh, there's two of these guys and they can
It
eat.
is making my mouth water.
Oh, the two of you, man.
Kind of makes me hungry.
I'm actually kind of hungry right now too.
You're all
Yeah.
sick.
Go get
Go
something to
stop.
eat.
McDonald's.
So let me ask you a
Dumb.
question. You hadn't finished telling us to get back to serious about the jobs you've lost. Do you mind asking us how many
Oh my
how many
God.
calls have you?
Okay,
When
so I
when is
said
your
the
next job?
Porgy and Bess and-
How
and
far
I-
ahead?
I ended up accepting it, and I ended up doing Tosca there as my debut instead.
Yeah, and
I
you
only
never
did
called
two
me,
performances,
goddammit.
but you know what? I ended up
Never
doing
called
it with.
me. I live in Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, so
I love
what?
you,
It
Carl,
was-
but I'm not going to call you when I come to your house.
you know what, Carl? I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think they were that great.
What?
Me,
Toskers?
mine, yeah.
I wanted to see you.
To see me, just to hang out.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Take
much
you
more
down.
fun.
Watch some
I'm
videos.
too neurotic. I was too neurotic. I was going through a lot.
It's
Which
all
I
right.
am
Look,
even
I'm
now.
not. Look, honey, I know you're busy. Listen, let me ask you though. So
Are you kidding me? People
did
love
cost-
to front me online. Bring it. I don't blame you. I mean, I fully accept it, and I'm sorry.
stop.
You know, I mean,
Stop.
to be honest, everybody gets so mad at me, but I mean, I don't like to talk on the phone. I don't like to call anybody. I don't like to do any of that stuff,
I know,
you know, unless
You
I
go
feel
to a job,
like.
you're not even in performance mode. And you don't want to call anybody. You don't want that.
Listen, I mean, I'm telling you, you don't believe me, and you think, oh yeah, I don't want to call anybody, blah blah. But it goes within my family too. You know,
No,
so much of my family I haven't even talked to since I got back to America.
It's like when
I flew back to America on March 13th, the day that Trump ended up doing the cutoff, saying that other people can fly from other countries into America and close the borders. You know what I mean? So like,
Where
there
were
was
you?
family I hadn't talked to until today.
Where were you coming back from?
My mother. I
No.
hadn't
Where's
I'm
where's
talking-
that?
No,
I'm
where
just
were you
saying.
where were you coming back from on March 13th?
France, from
From
Rouen,
France.
from Paris. I flew in from Paris. And guess what? I got in off the flight. I went through security. I went through customs. I got my bags. I got into a taxi, and I was allowed to come all the way home.
You're
And let me
lucky.
tell you
Wow.
something even crazier. 2 months later, on maybe May 3rd, a colleague of mine flew into New York, JFK. No testing, no
What?
screening whatsoever, and went straight home.
Hmm.
You know, look.
Just information.
Hmm.
So
Because
Where'd they
as
come-
much as we want to have fun right now, the reality is the reason why we're even having this conversation. Well, actually, that's not true because we were going to have this conversation before COVID. That's true. We had planned this in January. We're going to do this anyway.
right.
However, because this is the tone of this conversation is this way because of this.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: How long have you lost jobs? When do you know your next job's going to happen?
Yes. Okay.
Does
So
anybody
I continue,
know?
Okay. Just the long story short, since I'm
Or when
so
do you expect?
long-winded. Okay. I lost Washington National Opera. The gig I was doing in Brazil was a big solo concert with the orchestra with Maestro Oberlin, and we rescheduled that to December 1st, hoping
Okay.
that it will happen.
Hoping, yeah.
Hoping that it will happen. The next thing that I lost was I was doing Tosca and Caen, and we would have been opening tomorrow night.
Well,
Where?
No, actually on Saturday, Sunday night, maybe like.
Where is that?
In Caen, in France.
Oh.
It was a continuation of the new production of Tosca I had just done in Rouen right
Oh.
before I came home.
Hmm.
Okay.
And then I was going to open a new outdoor concert hall in San Diego. That was canceled. I was going to do a
Was
big
that the
concert
artist series with
John
the opera?
Melville, Alfred Classical in July, on June 29th, actually, and that was canceled at the Disney Hall in LA. And then I was doing my Aida, first time working with Yannick. I was going to do Aida up in Canada with his orchestra, and that was supposed to be at the beginning of April. Beginning of August. It was canceled. Obviously, the new Met production with Michael Mayer of Aida at the Metropolitan Opera, canceled. It's all been very hurtful. You know?
Now I'm
And
going to
so
ask.
Yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to ask you. It's I don't know how to word it, but has any of these lost jobs offered any kind of repercussion? Any
Yes.
kind of what do you call it? Just some kind of help or anything.
The theater in Caen, in France, they paid a portion of our fee.
wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, they decided to pay a portion
Great
of our
company.
fee.
Thank you for stepping up.
Absolutely incredible. You know what I mean? I didn't expect to get that at all because I understand the situation of theaters. I know that
Sure.
they were expecting their funds to come in, in different ways and
Yeah.
expecting donors to do this, that, and that. And a lot of donors have withdrawn their funds and have not guaranteed their funds for future seasons. And it's caused them to hoard money from other, ways. They've had to cancel and finagle just to keep their company afloat. It's very, very sad.
Do you think that's because, though, Europe has more support from the government for their
Yes.
arts?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% yes is the answer.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think so, too.
For some
Absolutely.
reason, America knows that the arts is crucial, but refuses to recognize it and support it financially.
It's less than 1% supported by the government. The National Endowment of the Arts, less than 5% of all
Are you serious?
arts. Yeah.
Of all total.
Of all arts is less than
Combined.
5%.
So, well, let's ask Latonia because we always have a segment on the show, Tales from the Road. And I mean,
we've talking about Tales from the Road.
We've been told some funny stories.
Stories from the road.
Stories from the road.
Tales is something totally different.
Yeah. No, but I'm sure Latonia has one that doesn't include me and Carl. So is there one that pops in your head? Because I'm sure there are many.
One that is quite taboo that you would never talk about.
Oh my God. I mean, the sad truth is that there are so many.
I know. Latonia especially.
But I have to pick and choose who I'm able to speak about and what story I want to tell. You know what? Stories from the road. This is stories from Operaland. Let's call it that right now, okay? Because I'm going to include school, which is the most fun time for opera, right? Because we just don't take it seriously enough. And I miss it. So let's go back to the first story. The people involved will kill me, but it's all right. They killed me before, and I'm still here. Okay, so if you kill me this time, that's life number 2. So forgive me. Derek Taylor. I went to school with him in the Academy of Vocal Arts. Fabulous dark tenor voice. You know, I got to perform with him in one concert where we did Butterfly together. But one of my favorite memories of him is we were doing La Notte di Figaro, and I was the Countess, and he was in the chorus, I think. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know if he was switching off as Don Cortio. I know Don Cortio was Stephen Costello. It was just so funny. The Susanna was Eileen Perez. I don't even remember who was on stage during this scene. Yo! But a lot of people, apparently they like to do this, you know, when we were younger, but the cool game was to like take out your scrotum and pretend like it was bubble gum. Don't actually
say what?
Carl. I feel like
Carl's like, which production is that?
I need to go back to school.
As a kid. Yeah.
I need to go back to school.
Right? So I'm on the stage and I'm like singing some recitative, which I can't really remember at the moment. But normally I can, just so you know. My memory may be shit about a lot of things, but when it comes to music, I mean, I remember like a hawk, yeah?
Music and scrotums.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, scrotum. Okay.
No, I'm saying your memory is good when it comes to music and scrotums.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead and call out the obvious.
All right,
oh, look at you, yeah. So,
all right.
ooh, Lauren. Anyway, so taking that, and you know, I'm doing my, you know, recitative, blah 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 blah. I look over, side of the stage, scrotum all peeled out, you know. Out of his pants.
And who was it?
You know what I mean? Just
Who was that?
on the top, or maybe it was on the top because he was a costume.
Who was that?
I was dead to the world.
It's that tenor who's in the chorus.
The best thing I'd ever seen. And anybody I told about it, this is the shocker. Anybody else that I told about it at school, they were unfazed because they had seen this gag before and I had not. Okay? Because in my real undergrad, University of North Texas, I was so silly and so focused on opera that I didn't notice something like the scrotum joke. You know what I mean? Like I didn't notice the sticking out the pants scrotum joke. Absolutely awful. Oren hates the gestures. I know you do. I see it.
It reminds me when I was in school, when I was in Oberlin, we were doing Midsummer Night's Dream, and I was one of the rustics. I was Peter Quince, and there's a scene where he hands out all the scripts.
I only know it because I had to study it because my friend was gonna do it or whatever. But like, I am laughing, just knowing that you did any role in the opera. Please continue.
Yeah. So there's a part where Peter Quince has to give out all the scripts to all the rustics, other rustics. So we waited, and on the last script, piece of paper, we taped all of this X-rated like pictures and everything, and I gave it to Dan O'Coolidge, and all the rustics, we all look excited, and Dan had to be real excited when he got his script, and he looked at it, and we all just started busting out laughing. And afterwards, it was a rehearsal, and I remember the director's sweet older lady. She called us all in, and she's like, "You guys seem to lose focus there for a second." She's like, "What?" She's like, "What is that? Was everything okay? What happened there?" And we couldn't even tell her. It was. It was brilliant.
I love stuff like that, though.
I love it too.
That's the best.
So scrotum time.
Carl is still on that.
I like it.
Yeah, of course he's still on that because remember first we started with like the Midas touch golden like monkey baboon penis,
Monkey dick.
you know, and then we went to scrotum. We've
I'm
already talked
I'm still
about
gonna try to
human
find that picture.
childbirth
Do you
and blue babies and discharge dripping. So I mean, what else are we gonna cover?
Do you
Let's
remember in
go.
that production as well? It was a great idea by Pittsburgh Opera. They had every night in the Triumphal Scene, they had one sports star from the past. So
Yeah,
we had Charlie Batch was there, the quarterback. He came out one night. Then we had Franco Harris, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then one night we had an older gentleman who had been an old pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys remember, maybe you guys are too busy singing, but he turned around and smashed into the set.
Oh,
you guys
I remember that. Yeah.
And I felt so.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, I kind of remember that.
I think you were singing at that moment, but I felt so bad for the guy. He came out. He has a little tunic on and everything, and he did his big moment, and he turned and he smashed right into the whole set. And
do you remember Franco Harris was part of the small group of guys, contingency of guys that had to carry me on for the Triumphal Scene?
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
I
This is
do.
in Pittsburgh.
You remember that?
This is in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yes, at Pittsburgh Opera in 2013. It was September, October. It was
You know what he
September.
said to me?
Ooh, what?
We-
Franco Harris?
Yeah, opening night, Franco Harris, or I think it was Franco Harris, carried me on, you know. And when they let me down, we're on stage. It's opening night. I'm coming in, I'm looking all regal and shit. And he turns to me and he goes, "Are all tenors your dents?"
Talk about your weight.
Yes, my son.
You know what the truth is? The answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
That's
Like
funny.
those.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm trying to think of it, and tenors are actually dense as fuck.
Yeah.
I worked with a tenor
Skinny-ass
just now
tenor.
in Rouen, and to look at him, he did have a very big torso and that small lower waist, sort of like that cartoon Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
You remember that was the blonde hair? Right? He was
Yeah.
like Elvis, and he had this huge torso, this little tiny waist. Well, he was kind of like that. And at the end in Tosca, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, you know, Mario, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's time to go, right? And then I go up to him and I realize he's dead. And I tried to pick him up in one rehearsal. And he's really not a big guy, not a big guy at all, right? It's the normal weight guy. I couldn't pick him up and it was impossible. I was like, damn.
Do you mind saying his name?
Torso is fucking titanium. Like metal, giant, fucking whatever is heavy as fuck.
Do you mind telling us his name?
I couldn't believe it. Huh?
What's his name?
His name is Andrea Carre. Hey, Andrea.
Andrea Carre.
You got that metal torso, baby. You do. and I know, and if you're watching this, you know the moment that I'm talking about. But I went to lift him. I gotta say, I'm kind of strong. You know, I'm normally strong, but I also have these toddlers, and I like to carry them around in two arms like this. And so I'm kind of like a little bit abnormally strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a hard time lifting him. I'm gonna guess tenors are dense. Not just from that, also another tenor, Riccardo Massi. And I remember at one point trying to sort of pick him up in rehearsal and thinking, this guy is solid meat. Meat. I mean, oh my God. And let me tell you how solid this meat is. He actually used to be a son. No.
Grade A, grass fed.
No. The meat is so solid.
Hey, real quickly, we're gonna be. I want to before we sign off. We have a few more minutes. I want to see pictures.
Oh my God, we're signing off.
I vote. I vote that we make Latonia a permanent member of our.
I think we should.
We should.
Yeah.
I
vote we are not nearly done.
Hey, I have a question. Do you have pictures of your kids?
Do you really want to see them on air?
Of course we do. I'd love to see the babies.
All right. Okay. So let's find pictures.
Now, do they sing too, Latonia? Are they loving it? Do they really want to take after their mother?
I mean, my daughter does sing, you know what I mean? And she's actually really good. And like, she tries, she like practices at it.
Oh.
But then she gets distracted by like Kirby and her pink chair and a candle and anything. Okay. Is there, yeah.
It's like most sopranos.
I was gonna say.
Make it hard to tame.
Latonia, this might be kind of a passé question, but how did you get started in opera? Where'd you find your passion and love for opera?
Okay, there we go. Nice, clean question.
Somebody's got to be here.
Thank
I have
you,
it right here in front of me.
Frank. I can't rely on these other two, and certainly not on me. But I got my start in opera this way. And this is going to, do we have 6 entire minutes or not?
At
No,
least.
please go ahead.
Please. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to tell you, but it won't take 6 minutes.
Yeah,
really.
we have about, we started around
Carl.
5:02, 5:04, and we have until about 6:02, 6:04.
When I was younger, I remember, now I had already been introduced to classical music because I had done it in junior high school.
You grew up where? You grew up where? In Philly, right?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, Houston, Texas. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That was home.
Houston, and
Great music town.
I was
Born in
kindergarten.
1979 in Houston, Texas.
I was born in 1978.
Oh, 'cause I have your
Yeah,
Wikipedia
I'm
page
not
says
sure who
79.
printed whoever does Wikipedia and is able to edit it, you should. I actually wrote somebody 2 months ago, and I was like, "Can you edit this? You know, I'm this person," and nothing ever changed.
Yeah.
But you know, full disclosure, I don't ever pretend about my birthday.
Latonia, here's
It's
the
June
difference.
30th, 1978.
It's interesting.
So please send me a nice message or some virtual flowers or a dirty picture, anything you have that's interesting, that's going to give me a thrill for my day.
Latonia, here's a little bit of an age difference. In 1979, I was singing the national anthem for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Pittsburgh. And the feels like a lifetime.
Wait, maybe it's the same person who did the Wikipedia person who did your page is the same person that says Carl Tanner is worth about how much? $10 million?
Yeah, celebrity net worth says I'm worth 10 million, eight to $10 million.
8 to 10 million. Yeah, just
I
ask your Alexa to say how much is Carl Tanner worth, or Google it, and Carl wants to know where the rest of that money is.
I want to know where it is.
So 78 in Houston, Texas.
So 78 in
That's
Houston,
right.
Texas.
You know what? I'm going to make the long story extremely short. I was a jazz singer, but I'd done classical music. I went into opera in college. And from there, I moved up to Philadelphia, went to AVA, Academy of Vocal Arts. And I started doing competitions and did whatever I could to get myself out there. I was extremely ambitious.
But you wanted to be a jazz singer when you
started? I had ambitious people around me at all times. What'd you say, Frank?
But you wanted to be a jazz singer when you first started?
I mean, that was, I went into classical opera. I was in the marching band. I did classical band. I did classical choir. I did all of the everything in high school. Mm-hmm. But I focused more on jazz because that's where I got the highest recognition. I was selected to be a part of this choir called from the Nearest Foundation from the Grammy Awards. Mm-hmm. So they selected 16 people from around the country to be a part of a jazz choir, in which I met the composer and conductor Damian Sneed, actually.
Oh, wow.
He's an incredible composer. Please look him up. Look up his work. Incredible composer, incredible arranger. Wonderful conductor, great energy. But I met him way back then. He's one of my oldest colleagues that still exists now, and this is gonna be a funny connection. But anyway, so we recorded a CD. We performed with John Secada, Monica. We got to perform with Santana, Arturo Sandoval, the trumpeter. We did all this stuff. We recorded a CD. We got to go to the Grammy Awards. We went to Disneyland, the whole shebang. Now, after all of that, I went to college at University of North Texas because they have an incredible jazz program. Mm-hmm. I was there as a jazz major, but no matter what, you were required to take classical voice lessons. In the midst of that, I met who became my best friend, who I had already known, but became friends with, Jesus Garcia, while I was there, who pushed me into opera. Wow. I went into choir with Susan Conklin, and she pushed me into opera. Paula Homer, she, really pushed me into opera. They said, you should take opera. My very first voice teacher, which I don't acknowledge much because I harbored such bitterness against him. Because when I was there in my undergrad at UNT, he voted against me and got a lot of people to vote against me to get an artist diploma, which is where basically you're in college and you focus solely on your craft.
That's right.
Which is all I wanted to do. I did not want to waste time on computer technology and all of these bullshit courses that I knew wouldn't serve my purpose.
Good for you, yeah.
So he voted against me and got it voted against me 5-4. My voice teacher said, who at the time was Patty Johnstone, she said, you need to get out of here. I said, I'm not living here because of you. She said, you need to leave.
But then AVA really brought you to focus. I mean, seriously. That's
When
what they
she
do.
told me I needed to leave, I looked around the country for voice teachers.
Yeah.
A couple I really liked. I liked Pat Mislin, but she wasn't for me. I loved Everett McCorvey, but honestly, it was that I didn't want to live in Kentucky. Isn't that shitty? But,
Who does?
The respect of a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
There goes our Kentucky audience. Thanks.
Yeah. No.
Hey,
Actually,
listen,
it's
I
the
have
safest
a.
way to speak now.
Listen, but let me just say, because this is very important, especially for young singers to hear something like this.
This
Weird
is what I was
privilege.
going to ask you. I was going to ask you.
Went with my best friend Jesus Garcia to his voice lesson because he was going to be studying with Bill Schumann and starting at the Academy of Vocal Arts next semester. So I was in the voice lesson with him, and Jesus was having his lesson. He sounded amazing. Bill was doing great work. And out of nowhere, Bill goes, so Jesus told me you're a singer. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he said, I want you to sing something for me. And I was like, no, acting, feigning false modesty, basically, which is, let me tell you, for all of those who decide to be falsely modest, it's a stain on you. And you're the one that carries the negativity of being falsely modest because it's you diminishing who you are just so you can make somebody else feel better. Right. See, that's not the point.
Amen. Yes,
yes, right. You're supposed to uplift other people.
Amen.
Unless you're Frank.
Forget who you are.
Yeah.
None of the people on this panel right now have forgotten who they are. And you shouldn't do that shit either.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I was going to ask you, what advice would you give young singers? You just did. Now I have one more quick question. Would you come back on our show? Because we haven't covered half of what I want to talk with you about.
Yes, I'll come back on your show. I'd be glad to continue exactly where I left off.
She just wants another. She wants another
They
day.
love you.
As long as the kids are out of the house and the husband, you get another day to.
No,
She'll come back anytime.
I'll come back on the show if you promise. Right now, we're gonna continue this conversation so I can at least keep talking.
Absolutely, make it a picture of dreams.
Out of the house, let me go ahead and vent and voice my opinion. For all of those who are watching, thank you so much. You're always going to get the real thing from us. You're going to get the real thing from Frank, the real thing from Orrin, definitely the real thing from Carl.
Listen, we love you. And I want to say that it's been phenomenal having you on. And thanks for finally coming on. I know we didn't talk about what's going on in America right now with racism and the awareness, everything. And I wanted to bring that up, but I don't want to bring our audiences down. I want to leave on a high note today. So the next time we do it, whenever that is, we'll start there and then end on a high note.
Well, you know what? We don't have to start there because we're going to end it on a nice high note, including racism. Got it? I'll give it to you. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Just treat everybody the same. Can you please attempt to do that?
Amen.
Can you try it tomorrow or try it the next day? Because I know that there are some people out there that are watching, and yes, you are a bastard, and you're acting like a butthole, and you're looking at people and you're judging them, and you're thinking X, Y, and Z. Can you try to drop it just for a day and assume that maybe you're not right?
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Assume that maybe the other person is right. They got something to say. Can you see the other side? Yeah. Just try to see the other side for one day. That goes to every person, whether you are white or black or turquoise. I don't care. Please think about the other side a little bit today. It's the only way anything can come together.
That's right. Only way to live.
You're right, honey.
Amen.
Look, I love you all. I appreciate you guys coming on. Well, not you guys. I appreciate you coming on our show. Okay.
Anytime, baby. You know it.
And listen,
well, actually, when we thought about doing this show, I mean, I said it before, but the first person,
your name,
not was you.
Yeah.
So
you know how hard I love y'all. Let's keep chatting.
We're gonna have you back on, okay?
All right.
God, I hope this did a video recording because I don't see it anywhere. I see that we're being recorded by GPS, but we'll see. This has been Gotham Podcast. This has been Opera with a Side of Fries with our special guest, Latonia Moore. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and shut everybody.
Love you guys.
Okay. See you guys.